right.
Oh yeah, thanks you guys. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on here.
I think it's pretty cool what you guys are doing. Very good questions and what a lot of research.
This is cool.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate you guys asking me to be a part of this.
Welcome back to the Between Shifts podcast. From red dirt country roots to breaking barriers in rock radio, she's a powerhouse behind the mic and the first female program director at one of the most iconic stations in the country. You know her from 107.7 The Bone. Please welcome Chasta Lynn.
Dude, cheers to that. Thank you so much. That's very, very sweet of you. Very kind. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Of course. You guys can't see this, but wow, what a cool spot. What a freaking cool spot to record in.
Chasta loves the turret.
I do. It's so neat. And it's haunted as shit. What else do you need?
Yeah, admit it. You just like it because it's haunted.
I do. It speaks to my soul. I have a beer in my hand. Ghost and beer. I'm like, that's my life.
There we go.
Yep.
Well, we'll start out pretty easy. Where did you grow up?
Southern Oklahoma, in a really small, tiny town. Speaking of red dirt country, that's real. Like the red dirt is real. It's a beautiful flat land in the middle of pretty much nowhere. It's right across the Red River of Texas and Oklahoma, about 45 minutes north of Texas. So deep in the southern part. We call it southern. It's technically not southern. I guess it's Midwest, but southern's an attitude. And we got lots of attitude in Oklahoma. It's a very small town. When I was growing up, about 4,000 people, one stoplight. We have upgraded to 2 stoplights now.
That's awesome.
I don't know the population, but we do have a Walmart super center. So I'm just saying it's big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a cool little safe spot. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
Is your family still there?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, all of them.
So still go back in the summers and stuff.
I do. I haven't been back in a couple of years. My husband and I bought a place in New Orleans. And right around the same time, a massive tornado, because it's Oklahoma, a massive tornado came through and kind of obliterated our town.
Oh, no.
Damn.
And so my mom was like, don't come home. It's so depressing. It's so sad. Like until things get built back up and, just let's all meet in New Orleans. So that's kind of what we've been doing at Christmas time. So that's been great for the last couple of years.
Did you have to deal with any tornadoes growing up?
I did every season. Every year, every season, all the time. Yeah, I mean, it's just something that you get really used to. There's a season of it, literally, like the season has gotten bigger now. Thank you, global warming. It used to be like, cheers to that. Serving us well in Northern California on the coast. It's beautiful. It's like San Diego now. Yeah. But no, it used to be like, a few months. And now, I mean, you can have tornadoes pretty much any time of year that can be really destructive. So yeah, it was definitely something we were always, I have some of my fondest childhood memories are from tornado, warnings and going down into the cellar, if you will. It was awful.
Damn.
I don't miss that part. I do miss storms, but I don't. I miss lightning and storms, and the drama that brings, but I don't miss tornadoes.
Yeah. Do they teach you when you're little about why the dirt's red?
Not when you're little, but when you're, when you're in high school.
High school?
Yeah, they teach you. Oklahoma is very proud of not only their geography, but their history, Native American roots, and all of that. So you take, I don't know if it's like that in California, because I didn't go to school in California.Maybe you can tell me. Like, we had Oklahoma history and Oklahoma geology, and we had all kinds of, like, things like that.
Yeah, so, we kind of had that. We learned,
a little bit.
We have 3 different rock formations here. Like, Montera's one.
Mm-hmm.
Prisma's another.
Yep.
And
I felt like I learned a lot about that watching BO's episode with you guys. Like when you were talking about the dredging and stuff, I was like, I learned so much on that episode.
He's so smart too. He's very informative with all that.
And very involved.
And
very committed.
Yes.
Yeah.
He should be committed. Definitely. I've only had 3 drinks of this so far. Well, and a shot, to be fair. I have drank many a nights with him. He definitely should be committed in some way. But no, he is a very committed soul. Like once he decides on something, he's very bullish in the best way, and I love now the dredging that he was fighting so hard for has started, which is amazing to see. So, congratulations on all his work.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty cool when all the sand starts working its way back around.
Yeah. Nature does its thing.
Yeah.
So with growing up in Oklahoma, how do you think that shaped you? I mean, you're here in California now.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma's a lot different.
It's a lot different in every way.
Yeah.
Here's what I will say about that. I have to be careful because, we're a very divided land, unfortunately, right now. And I knew in Oklahoma that there were in some ways I didn't belong, and so I always knew I was not going to be there forever. That wasn't for me forever.
Yeah.
Even though my family's there, I love it so much in so many ways, and so many people I love are there. But I just knew for me personally, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So from a very young age, I knew like I was California bound immediately. Okay. So as soon as I graduated college, I was very hell bent on like, getting through high school, getting through college, getting those degrees, and then I'm out. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
But it shaped me in a way that, I grew up pretty poor. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 7, and my mom was, she was very hell-bent that I'm going to do this on my own. And so that sometimes meant not having a lot, which God bless her now as a mother.
Yeah.
I'm like, good on you, man, as a female. And especially at that time, late 80s, early 90s, she did so much on her own. My dad was very much a part of our lives.
Yeah.
We were with him every weekend, but she financially wanted to like do it on her own.
Yeah.
And so that sometimes meant going without. So I think that shaped a lot of who I am, just not having much and having to fight for it, because that fear of always going back to not having much is like lingers here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to hustle.
And did you have siblings?
I have one brother, yes.
One brother?
Yeah.
Nice. Is he still in Oklahoma?
Chance, or as we call him, Bubba.
Bubba.
Yes, he is still back in Oklahoma. He has given me my 3 absolutely breathtaking, wonderful, beautiful nieces and nephews that are like my kids.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Sweet.
super cool.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
Did you play any sports growing up?
Okay, this is controversial. I was a big time cheerleader.
Nice.
Like went to state, competed. Like we were like 2-a-day practices type cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Like you have to understand, football in Oklahoma is religion.
Yeah.
That's all we got. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have a lot of sports. You have like baseball, wrestling. You have baseball, wrestling, and football,
And one stoplight.
Yes, exactly. we do have, we have 2 now, but that was not part of my story.
Yeah.
2 stoplights, that feels like very, very big to me. Big time.
One stoplight, football, and cheerleading.
I mean, it's Friday Night Lights up in here. But no, I was a cheerleader, took that very seriously. We competed. I did play basketball. I was okay. I was scrappy. I teed out all the time. I always got technical fouls, like all the time.
Yeah.
And I played softball a little bit, and tennis. I loved it. We didn't have tennis in school. I was surprised about B.O. too, that he was such a badass tennis player. Didn't know that about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. I love tennis. I get very competitive. I've broken tennis rackets in front of my husband before. That was real surprising for him. My Roger Federer was showing. But no, not a big sports ball girl.
Have you made the switch to pickleball?
I haven't. I feel so lame. I've never even tried it.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
I got to try it.
gotta
I got to
try
get
it,
on
yeah.
board at least once.
Yeah.
I probably suck now. It's been a minute.
To be fair, I played it like twice.
Okay,
But it was
that's
fun.
all right.
It was fun both times.
Okay,
so.
all right. Well, that's enough for me to try.
2
it
for
at
2.
least.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then, was there a radio show host growing up in Oklahoma that you were like listening to and had an influence on you?
That's funny. Okay, so yes and no. So radio, I never anticipated on doing radio. Like I never in my wildest dreams thought like, I'll be on the radio one day.
Yeah.
But there was a legendary station in Oklahoma City called Rock 100.5 The Cat. And like everyone knows it. It's the biggest thing that exists. And it's been there forever, literally 50-ish years, something like that. A lot of the people still work there.
Wow.
A lot of people came with the building and they're still there.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I grew up listening to that, and radio was a surprise later. I'm sure we'll probably get into that story, but I listened to that, and then I listened because I lived on the close to the Red River between Texas and Oklahoma. I listened to Dallas radio a lot. That was like the edgy alternative stuff came out of Dallas because that was a real big city. So those 2 things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fun fact: when I traveled New Zealand for 9 months with my girlfriend.
That doesn't suck.
And when I was getting ready to come back, we started looking at jobs.
Yeah.
There was 2 radio show hosts. At least they were listings like on one of the job sites.
Yeah.
And one of the things was you have to send in a 1-minute video to apply to be a host. It
Yeah.
was like old rap and hip hop, and then there was a rock and roll radio station. And I think the company had just left up the listing, but already like hired.
Oh.
I did the 1-minute video. Had
Oh
my
my
girlfriend
God.
film me. We sent it in. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm so stoked. Hopefully I hear back. Nothing. I was like, dang it.
To be fair, I've sent out videos and audio packages like
Yeah.
that and never heard back. So it happens.
yeah.
It happens to the
I was
best
like,
of
I'm
us.
just going to do my own podcast, man.
Yeah. F them. And now you can. So that's
Yeah.
the power of 2025.
Yeah, definitely.
So you were close to Dallas? How far of a drive was it?
So I was kind of smack dab almost in between Dallas and Oklahoma City, like our two biggest metropolitan areas. So a little further from Dallas. Dallas is more like 2.5 hours, and Oklahoma City is an hour and a half. So right in the middle of those.
Weekend trips.
Yeah, weekend trips. Or, we had to go there and get beer a lot of times. That was like the big priority. Or lotto tickets, or at that time tattoos or piercings. Anything that,
Yeah.
would be on Satan's side.
Was that the grocery shopping town?
Yeah.
Before Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. We used to
Yeah.
have the small Walmart. Yeah, we used to have to go down there. That was the funny. So in Oklahoma, you guys probably don't even know this exists. It used to be like this. I cannot say if it's this way anymore. It used to only sell 3-point beer.
What's that mean?
So exactly. So whenever, this is a funny story. My husband's going to be so pissed that I tell it, but it makes me laugh every time. So the very first time I took him back home, we go out to the lake. I grew up near Arbuckle Lake, which is just beautiful. It's no, Pacific Ocean, but for us, it's beautiful. And we spent every summer out there with my dad was the boat guy. He was the party guy. I loved him so much. He was great. And so took my husband out there, and we're drinking all day, as you do at the lake. We're like using the pool noodles, floating around, drinking. My husband's like, I'm not even buzzed. It's amazing. He's feeling like Iron Man. And I'm like, bro, how many beers you had? He's like, 6. I'm like, yeah, you've had 3. Because they're 3% alcohol. That's all you get there. Like, you can't, again, this was back. This is almost 20 years ago. So, let's see. The beer I'm drinking right now is 6.8. Yeah, that's double. That's double what you would normally get in Oklahoma.
Wow.
You couldn't even get that here. So we would have to drive to Texas.
So are you saying they would max out the beers at 3%?
Correct.
Through all of Oklahoma.
Yes, from what I understand.
So that's why you would go to Dallas.
We'd have to go to we'd have to go over the border, over
over
the Oklahoma-Texas border
yeah.
to get real beer.
Yeah.
So my husband was heartbroken when he was like, "Oh, I'm basically drinking water." I'm like, "Yeah, exactly."
Oh, you should have just let him have that.
I know, I should have. What an asshole I am. I know.
Well, so after college, you moved to LA.
Yes.
And now, if I read your bio, but the
Yeah.
Cat is a radio station in LA?
Yeah. No, it's in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma
The
City.
Cat, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So
That's
you
where I started
interned
radio.
there before leaving. Mm-hmm. Okay, and was that where you kind of found your love for radio?
Yes. I always say radio found me. So the crazy story is I was in college. My mom was getting married to my stepfather. So, but they had been dating since I was 7. It was a long, long relationship before they even thought about getting married. And so whenever I was 19, I think, my mom was getting married, and I was like, I'm going to throw her a bachelorette party. We're going to go to an Aerosmith show, right? And so I called the Cat, the rock radio station, this huge heritage monster radio station, and I get Greg Zubek on the phone, who is a legendary jock. Legendary. He's the guy at the strip club, and he does all the announcements, and then he's also at the Cat, and he's just so cool. And so I get on the phone with him, and he and I just hit it off. All I was calling was to ask him, where do I buy tickets? Because this was in 2001-ish, 2002. So it's not like you had livenation.com, right?
Yeah.
Like you actually had to go to places to buy tickets.
Yeah.
So he and I hit it off, and he was like, hey, do you want an internship? And I was like, for what? And he was like, for radio, do you want to come in and work for us? I was like, absolutely. So I went in the next day, and I lied. He said, do you get credit for this at college? And I was like, mm-hmm. And I made up, the sheet and everything with the logo and all of it. It was pre-Photoshop days. I was in the library at my university like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And so I printed up this paperwork, and I took the internship, and that was that. And so I got on the air. A little later than that, a girl didn't show up for work one day, and the boss came over. I'll never forget it. It's the craziest moment ever of my life. I'm filing papers, doing my intern, bullshit work. And he comes over, he's like, hey, say something. And I'm standing at the copy machine, like getting my papers. And I turn around and I was like, do you want this? And he was like, that'll work. Come with me. I'm like, huh? And so he takes me into this giant studio. And you have to understand, Rock 100.5 The Cat is a monster station. It's a 50,000 watt signal. Like the whole state is covered with it. Everyone I've ever known listens to the station. It's the middle of the freaking day and like a Tuesday. Wow. 10 a.m. And he's like, okay, here's how you turn on the mic. Here's how you stop and start the music. Good luck. And I just absolutely shit in my pants. And so he leaves and I'm like, oh my God,
Was this solo?
This was solo.
Oh my God.
Solo.
The balls it takes to just throw a random person in there too on his behalf.
I mean, he didn't know what to do because his midday person didn't show up.
Yeah.
And unfortunately she had gotten in a car accident. She's fine, thank God. But, it wasn't her fault. But he had to like move on. And so I was standing there. I was just like a warm body, And so I went on the air and I was terrified. Well, I skipped an important part. He left the studio. I pulled the trash can out. I puked. And then I got up and I was like, here we go. And I'm like, my little hand is shaking like crazy. And I turned the microphone on and I did like the worst break of my life. And I have it on tape somewhere in my attic. And I'm like, I don't want to find it because I don't want to hear it. But anyway, that was the moment where I was like, this is it. This is the rest of my life is only this.
Yeah.
That adrenaline from live radio, it's very hard to replicate that.
And so then did that turn into doing that more often?
It did, yeah. Okay. So something I did, even though I think it was horrible, he heard something in me. Okay. Chris Baker, love you so much. He heard something and he was like, let's give you an overnight shift, which really sucks. Like that's truly like a, midnight to 6 a.m. Like it's the worst of it. That doesn't really happen anymore because of, budget cuts and radio and technology. You don't really have that anymore. But back in the day, that was how you paid your dues. You did overnights. And so that was my first. And I did that for a while, not that long. And then he put me on early mornings, like, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., which is a lot better. Yeah. And I just, and then within like a couple weeks after that, it was really fast. He was like, I'm putting you on a 3-person morning show. Wow. And I was like 20 years old. I mean, this all happened very fast. Yeah. Like, I'm like, knock on wood. It was such a blessing and it found me and it's been my great love affair. Radio has been my whole life. Yeah. It's all I've ever done.
Yeah. So is that prime time in radio, 6 to 9 a.m. kind of?
Monday through Friday, yes. Not on the weekends. I was doing Sunday morning, like introing the, public service announcement show. It was not really that glamorous. But the midday show, the morning show, Monday through Friday is definitely the highest tune, as we call it.
Yeah.
And then you were doing that for a year or so?
Okay, so let's do a little math here, and that's not my strong suit. So that was around, I got into 2001, I got in the air. So I worked about like 9 months for free as an intern before I got in the air. And then I went up to like a whopping probably $8 an hour or something like that, whenever I got on the air. And then, by 2002, I was doing mornings, which is wild. Yeah. I was on a show called Two Girls and a Guy. And and I was on with two very, very great, important, and well-known people. And God bless them, Sean and Phil. They took me under their wing. Like, I'm sure they were like, why in the world is this kid on our show? Like, what are you doing? But I would watch them and I would soak up every game they would play, every little radio trick they would do, everything. It was a masterclass. Yeah. And so I got like the best education real time. But I was also young and dumb. Like I was going out every night and then like starting my radio shift at 4 a.m., getting up 4 a.m. Sometimes I wouldn't even sleep. Like I was in college.
Well, you're on a rock and roll radio
station.
You gotta be like the rock stars.
Right. And I went through a few different radio stations at that time because we own a cluster. It was a cluster of radio stations. So I was on a country station and a punk rock station, which is so funny at the same time. And the Cat. So it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And then from doing that to moving to LA, what was that timeline? And
so I had a previous husband. I had a practice marriage, and he was the jock at the hip hop station, and he unbelievably talented. And he and I are friends to this day. All's well that ends well. But he and I told him, I was like, I love what I'm doing here. This is in 2002. I was in college. I was going to graduate in the spring of 2003. And I said, just so you know, love ya, but I'm out. So you can go with me. And that was when he proposed. So I graduated in May of 2003. I got married in July of 2003 after being with him 5 months, hence the divorce. And then Labor Day of that year. So you've got like, what is that, a span of 5 months, less than 5 months. I graduated college, got married, and literally hit the road to move to LA.
Wow. And then,
which was always the plan. Not the
yeah.
marriage part, but the moving part.
Yeah.
And then how was that transition moving to LA? I mean, that's a
Massive.
whole world of different. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, I was mentally prepared for it because it's all I had ever thought about as a little girl, you know.
So you always wanted to go to LA?
Always, yeah. It was always LA.
Yep.
I would sit in front of the Oscars as a little girl every year and just be enamored. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be an actress, you know, all that stuff. And I think my fiance / husband at the time was like, this chick's gonna do her thing. I'm either on this train or I'm not. And so I think that's why he jumped on so fast, and I get that. And he was my best friend, it turned out. So it really worked. And I give him a lot of credit because I think that was so much easier for me to get to LA.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go with a friend who bailed on me last second. She got scared and backed out.
Man.
So it really worked out that I had this partner that I was like, okay, I'm not in this alone.
Yeah.
At least I've, got somebody.
Sense of home with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And my mom, God bless my mom. She is the most devoted #1 fan. She is your ride or freaking die. She gets in the car. So it's me, my husband, his name is Jamie. Me, my husband, my dog, and my mom in 2 cars in a little tiny U-Haul. We sold everything, which was very little, that we had, and we bailed and we drove to California. And then when we got there, my mom slept in the bathtub for like a week because we didn't have furniture, we didn't have anything.
Yeah.
She offered, by the way. That was not. I didn't put her in the
Mom, you get the bathtub.
to the bathtub you go. No, she's just that. She's that woman. So anyways, and we ended up in literally Hollywood. So like, for anybody who knows Hollywood and Highland is like, it's like Times Square, New York. You know, that's his like center of the universe that you can get in that area. I moved a block away from that.
Wow.
Like that's where we landed, on Cherokee Avenue in Hollywood. And so we were right in the middle of it. So yeah, you can't get more different from Sulphur, Oklahoma to Hollywood. It just, I was fresh off the turnip truck, as I say. Like I was just as wide-eyed and bushy-tailed as you could be.
And was that your first time in California?
Yes. Well, no. Come to think of it, when I turned 18, I got a credit card, and I was like, put a trip on it. And so me and my best friend, who was going to move with me, we did get in the car and we drove.
That's awesome.
To LA.
Nice. Just for a trip, just to check it out.
What car did you drive?
I drove, we drove her car, actually.
Do you remember what it was?
It was like a Capri or something. It wasn't. It wasn't that good. We
That's
ran out of gas. That's the big headline. We almost died on the side of the road too. 18-year-olds, idiots. So ran out of gas and almost died. I have that video. We were on the side of the road for like 8 hours.
Oh my God.
And so we had one of the old school, and I'm not kidding, like the old school, camcorder kind of things. And we were like, well, we're probably going to die here, so we should like probably film something. So when people find 2 skeletons, they'll know who we are. So we did the whole thing. That's a tape I wish I could find.
That'd be very funny.
Yeah. So I did go to California once before I moved there, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter what was there waiting on me. I was in it to win it.
Your come up in the radio world sounds a lot. Well, at least the beginning of it sounds a lot like that 70s show.
Oh.
When the redhead, I forget her name, the
I know who you're talking about.
But she gets the job at the radio, and then they're like, "Oh, you're actually going to host now."
Yeah. Yep.
It reminded me of that.
Basically, that's basically the story. Yeah.
Well,
I could have made that a lot shorter and been like, "That's the story."
So you moved to LA.
Yeah.
And are you hoping to get into the radio world in LA, or because I know what my question is getting at? Is, you were an assistant for an A-list actor.
Yeah.
Right? Was that your first job there?
That was my first job.
May I ask who the actor was?
You may or may not know him. It was Sean Astin. He was, Samwise Gamgee in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
He was Rudy and Rudy. He was in the Goonies. He is the son of Patty Duke. And he's he gave me a huge opportunity. It was fully on accident. So the headline is, I got to LA and I had no job. And I was like, all right, well, I have enough money for like 4 months. And if shit falls apart and I can't make it happen, you can always go home. That was always like my head. I was never going home. I would have been homeless before I was going home. But that's what I told myself just to get through it.
Too,
yeah, it's what drove me. I was like, you always have a backup plan. And so I literally, when I got to LA, my mom's, in the bathtub, and there we are, like, all right, we've arrived. And I open up the phone book. Jesus, I'm finding that I'm so old right now. I've made so many old references.
No.
God bless. What happened? When did this happen?
Phone book? Can you explain
exactly.
that for me?
What did I use? A
Is that what you
payphone
start
to-
fires with?
Exactly. God.
Yeah, be a bigger place.
Anyway, I opened up a phone book and I looked for. I had been a nanny in college,
Okay.
And so I had that experience, and I was like, okay, I could do that while I figure out what I'm gonna do, get my feet on, under me. I'll do that. So I went and interviewed, and I ended up getting this job. I did not know it was for Sean. I didn't know it was even for anyone famous. I just knew I got a nanny / assistant job.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So they were like, you got to go out to Calabasas, home of the Kardashians now. This is way before then. And they were like, you got to go out to Calabasas and do your final interview, but you should be good. And I go out there and opens the door Sean Astin. And I had never really seen Lord of the Rings, which I think ended up getting me the job, by the way.
Yeah.
But I knew Rudy. Like, Rudy was
Yeah.
and Goonies. Like, I'm an 80s kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Born in 81. And so, like, those are, big classics for me. So as soon as he opens the door, I was like, okay, this is interesting. And he has me come in, and I do an interview with he and his wife, and everything's great. And he's like, oh my God, you're the salt of the earth. And because I was from Middle America, and he thought that, for whatever reason, thought that was really cool. Probably
You're
because
so exotic.
I know I sounded so exotic with my, very thick Oklahoma accent. And so anyway, he asked me one final question, which was, had I seen Lord of the Rings? Because this is in the peak. This is like right as they're getting nominated for Oscars and stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. It felt like it was a trick question, and I was like, you know what? And when in doubt, go with honesty. And I was like, I apologize, I haven't. And he was like, perfect. And so I think that really gave him a little sense of comfort that I wasn't in it for the wrong reason, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so he hired me, and then I went home, and I was like, what the hell just happened? And then within 24 hours, I was on a plane to New York with him to do this press junket with the whole Lord of the Rings cast.
Wow.
My poor ex-husband. I like it. Like, my mom had just went back home to Oklahoma. She'd stayed with us a couple weeks. She just went back to Oklahoma, and I was like, peace out, bitches. I got to go to New York. Cause, like, it was wild. Wild.
That's pretty.
It was pretty cool, yeah. And I was meeting like all these celebrities, and I had to play it cool.
Yeah.
Like Will Ferrell's like right there, and I'm like, sweet, like that's no big deal,
Crazy.
That was probably the hardest part. Is like I couldn't react to any of that stuff, and I couldn't take photos of any of that. You know what I mean? It just lives in my mind.
Just keep a level head.
And power on. Yeah.
That's one of my friends was doing like I think he was like a station assistant for all the guests that were coming on a show. So he had all these like random people just kind of coming, and not random, they're A-lists, but the one he was telling me about that just caught him off guard was Matt Damon.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, Matt Damon's just a normal guy.
Yeah, most people are.
He's the coolest dude to just talk to.
And that's the best case scenario, by the way. Like, most of them are. Every once in a while, you'll get one of those, but not all that often. And, it's really nice when you just see them. I mean, like, it's weird to think, actually, today, Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out.
Yeah.
Like, Sean and Adam Sandler were very, very close at the time. They had done a movie called 50 First Dates together.
Oh, that's
right.
right.
Yeah, with Drew Barrymore.
Yeah,
And
he
so,
was her brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good.
And it was like right at that
such
time
a
that
good
was coming
movie.
out. And so Adam was like always calling the house, always around and everything. And he, like at the time, I would not call him a friend. But he was definitely around enough to know who I was. And that was really weird.
Yeah.
And very cool. And I'm really kicking myself that when I left that job, I didn't take any phone numbers with me. And I don't know why. Too damn honest.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Well, speaking of those ones, any horror stories or any mix-ups that you had from those times working as an assistant, being around all these A-lists?
Yeah.
No names needed, but
I can give a name.
I'd like names.
I'll give a name. Here's what I would say in general about being a personal assistant. It's really tough. It's tough, not about the sacrifice of time or the endless hours or the weird hours or the overnight hours or any of that stuff. It's just hard. You feel like a second-class citizen. You're literally living your life to please and up-level someone else. And that was hard for me. When I lived in Hollywood, you know, I would drive to Calabasas, and I'm living in like literally about the size of this studio, which is why I feel so homey and cozy in here.
What she means is fucking small.
But I was living in this, you know, and my mom's over here in the, you know, corner in the bathtub. And so I would drive out to Calabasas, this beautiful multi-million-dollar home, and that's very humbling, you know, and I'm not even about stuff, but it just, it's a place in life that you feel that you're out. And that was really hard. That's just kind of soul-sucking, I guess.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with the way that Sean or any of his family or anything like that treated me. It's just it's a tough gig. But yeah, spilling the tea. So Sean had, he always was double booked for everything because this was like the height of his career. So like Lord of the Rings was going off and he had 50 First Dates. And so he was like, 50 First Dates premiere is happening. I can't make it. He was on the East Coast doing like Larry King or something. Okay, great. So he went and did that. And he was like, you got to go to the premiere for me. Not a problem. So I do the red carpet, not like, hey, look at me, I'm Chasta. I'm just literally like walking like in his shoes, right? Where he's supposed to be
Part of his
in
team.
the line, in his team, representing him, right? And so I get to my seat and Adam Sandler's right behind me and he's just being a gem.
God.
He's so sweet. Like I have pictures in it. He was so nice. And Johnny Favreau, I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's a very famous actor, producer, director. He's done a million things, a lot of, you know, big movies. He was also behind me, and they were both really good guys that kind of sort of took care of me at the time. Dan Aykroyd. Do you know who Dan Aykroyd is? You guys are really young, so I don't know.
Name sounds familiar.
Saturday Night Live. He's big when I was little. Big comedy actor.
Gotcha.
One of the biggest Saturday Night Live actors of all time. He's sitting right here, and I point out that he was on the aisle. He was on the aisle seat, and I was right next to him, and then my ex-husband's here, and, like, Chris Rock's next to him, and then, like, God knows who else, right? So, like, clearly, like, which one of these do not belong? But the movie's about to start, and I'm like, I should go to the bathroom first, right? There is one seat between me and the aisle, and Dan Aykroyd's in it. And I'm like, excuse me, sir, can I get out? He would not let me out.
What?
Would not stand up. Would not move his legs. I was either going to have to straddle him and give him like a lap dance or make the whole Chris Rock and everybody else in that whole lineup get up. Sure as shit, he never would move. And I had to get up and go like 50 people down the hall. Yeah. It was such a heartbreak because I was a Saturday Night Live girl. Like that was all I knew as a kid and grew up watching. And I loved Dan Aykroyd. So that was heartbreaking. That was one of those. I haven't met a lot of the celebrities, but that one. And who knows? Maybe he was having a bad day.
Yep.
We all have bad days, and maybe that was that.
You just wished he was in that movie.
Or like maybe, I don't know. Yeah. He was in that movie, actually. I think he played the dad, if I remember right. But anyway. Yeah, it was a bummer. So I had a couple of those, but not a lot, thankfully.
Oh, the guy that played the dad in 50 First Dates?
Yes, I believe he was the dad. Now I have to, that's been 20 years ago now. Now I'm going to
go
Google.
Yeah.
God,
Damn.
you know how they say like Chat GPT and Google is making you dumber? I think this is exactly
it's a good tool.
This is
tool
exactly
for,
their point because I'm like, my brain doesn't work. Let's just look it up.
Yeah.
Yes, he was in 50 First Dates. Yes. Yeah.
Dang.
Here, I'll show you his picture so you guys can remember who he was. So you'll know. I was going to say he's a douche. He's not a douche. We don't know that. That is not.
Kind of sounds like one.
It was a douchey move for sure.
Yeah. The dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
50% douche.
Yeah, there you half douche. Douche for the day.
Yes.
Douche or creep?
You choose.
Yeah.
It's a new game.
Yeah. Well, transitioning a little bit. You've done it all. Traffic, news, modeling. I saw your stories the other day.
Yes.
Modeling.
Oh my gosh, well, that was a treat.
Personal assistant to an A-lister. What did those chapters of your life teach you about hustle and staying grounded in the entertainment world?
Well, like I said, like as a personal assistant, you're grounded. Trust me, you know your place in society at that moment. What I will say is hustle. Like hustle's always been my middle name. I don't sit still very long at all. I never stop, which is not great always, to be honest. I think that's one of my personal flaws that I try to work on unsuccessfully a lot. But it's always about like what's next, getting to the next place, making the next thing happen, whether it's doing traffic or news or, you know, being a celebrity assistant, whatever the case may be, I'm always going to give it like 1,000%. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but that is definitely who I am. I was raised on a ranch. I had 3 parents. Like my mom and dad, like I said, got divorced at 7 and my stepdad came into my life. And he owned a ranch. And that boy, woof.
Yeah.
Like he worked like 14 hours a day, sun up to sundown and then some, you know, hacking up frozen ponds in the middle of the winter with like a ice pick. I mean that like hard work. Yeah. My dad, he owned a bowling alley. He was an entrepreneur and worked constantly. My mom was a child abuse investigator, like some of the hardest work you could do.
Yeah.
So like these are really tough people that never took no for an answer. They just push through, and that's all I've ever done.
All those jobs are long hours too.
Long hours, endless hours, and you don't leave them either.
Yeah. Stuff you take home with you.
Stuff you take home.
Do you have anything while you're hosting like that keeps you just kind of like a reset button for you, like working out or hiking?
I work out every day.
That's good.
Every day.
Yeah.
That's my me time.
Are you working every day?
Am I working every day? I work, yes.
Yeah.
I'm on the air Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
But I'm always working.
Gotcha.
I have an umbilical cord to the radio station.
Yeah.
Because I'm the program director right now. That's radio speak for I run the station. So like right now on my phone, I could pull up the radio station and I could add a song or delete a song or move songs around.
No way.
Or whatever. Yeah. Or
we should
like
do it for fun.
I know, right? Woo! Give me another beer, baby. No, or like this week, like a perfect example, Ozzy died. Like I could go in and delete everything I have planned for the rest of the hour and put in a bunch of Ozzy songs to like go wall to wall Ozzy. So things like that. So I'm always on. I always have it in my purse, literally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I work all the time.
That's
crazy.
more power than I would know what to do with.
It's terrifying. I will say this, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I will say this. There have been times where I've been like, a little buzzed, and it'll be like midnight, and I always put the radio station to sleep. So I put my son to sleep, and then the next thing I do is I go in and I put the station to sleep, usually in my house, in my studio, but I can do it on my phone. But that's just me checking the time and making sure everything's evening out throughout the overnight. There have been moments where I have had a couple too many to drink, and I'm like, oh my God, zoom in, because it's all touchscreen, and like these freaking nails that are like, daggers. It's terrifying, but I have not done anything major yet. So
now, when you say put the radio station to sleep, just like fade, because you always have music on.
Yeah, we always have music on. So that's a timing thing. This is really nerdy. We're going to go into the weeds. I won't keep you there very long. But basically, it's like an it's a FCC thing. So like we have to run what's called a legal ID. So the legal ID says KSAN, San Mateo, San Francisco, Cumulus Media Station. It's like a legal binding thing that happens every hour, at the top of every hour.
Station identification.
Exactly.
This is KNBR
That's right.
680.
Yes, exactly. You know. So that runs every hour at the top of the hour. So you have to make sure that runs like between 05 and 55 is the goal, right? So like I have to time out the music all the time. So we maybe, if we come in at 53, I'll put in like a 5-minute song to try to get us closer to the top of the hour to keep those commercials. Because we also sell commercials in a specific time block. So those need to happen in that specific time block. To get there, it's a lot of math. Which is so screwed up because I went to communications in college and I never wanted to do math, and now I do it every day. But it's a lot of math, but it's just keeping us on time.
Math with song lengths?
Yeah.
Not that
bad. It could be worse.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Shit, if you played like Into the Void to put the station to sleep, that'd be so hard to...
Right? No kidding. I know. Yeah, seriously. Oh, there's been moments. I mean, it's funny too because I'm like... I am a little bit Rain Man. I know like the lengths of most songs. Yeah. Like I can be like Cashmere, 8 minutes, it's just one of those things because I do this every night.
Aqualung?
Yes, there you go. Look at you with the deep knowledge. I love that. Yes. I could do that all day. It's like a bar trick. It's weird.
We're back.
And we're back.
We're sweating.
Yeah.
For some reason, Chasta brought all the technical difficulties with her.
I'm telling you, the ghosts follow me. This shit happens all the time.
Our GoPros never shut off.
Until today.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. You thought I was kidding, didn't you? Now you know.
Yeah. What did LA do to you?
I know. I hate to tell you this. I was playing in cemeteries when I was like 8, so it's been my whole life. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been my whole life.
Well, we were at How You Met Your Husband.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I lived in Hollywood, and my husband is a professional musician, like an unbelievable drummer. And so he had a gig with his band at the time called Solid State Logic. That was the band's name. And I was hosting a nationally syndicated show called Three-Way Talk with 2 of my girlfriends. And we had a segment looking for unsigned bands, like unsigned artists. And so this guy, Bradley, shout out Bradley, although he's not going to like what I have to say. He invited us to come out to the Viper Room to see his show, to like, talk about it on the radio. He was awful. And so after him, he opened for this band, Solid State Logic. And so we're leaving, and Bradley was lovely, but just, not for us. And so we're leaving. We're literally walking down the stairs of the Viper Room, and we hear this band start. And my husband, I'm so used to talking about him, is like my first thought. My best friend, Gianna, and I are together, and she was my co-host of the show. And we both stopped in our tracks, and we were like, that sounds promising. Let's go back. Maybe we can make something of the night, right? So we go back, and this band is awesome. And we're standing there watching, and the Viper Room is packed, and it's this great show. And we're standing there, and my best friend, she like, elbow nudges me, and she's like, look at the drummer. And this is my first night out. I had mentioned previously on this podcast that I was married, and my husband had left a month or so, 6 weeks before this. This is my first night out. So I was out of body. Like, I was like not talking to anybody, very shy, felt very weird about being out. Like, just like, what is my life about? Like, I was lost goose. And she was like, he's really hot. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so we went outside, and we were about to leave. And that band came up and approached us, and they were like, hey, what's up, girls? Again, this is 20 years ago. And we're like, hey. And so they invited us to their after party, which was this hotel right behind the Viper Room. And we go up there and we hang out. And he and my best friend, Gianna, who, by the way, fun fact, is an anchor at Channel 5 News.
Oh, cool.
You can have her on this podcast. She's awesome. No, her and I, we were roommates, best friends, co-host and all of it. And so her and Jay are talking, and they're hitting it off or whatever. And we leave, and I had given them my card for the radio show. And we were like, hey, reach out, whatever, you guys are great. Yeah. And I get this text to my phone, and it's like, hey, I really wish you didn't have to go. And I was like, oh, this is from that cute guy to you. And I hand my phone to Gianna. I'm like, he has the wrong person. And so I text him. I'm like, oh, you meant this for Gianna. He was like, no, I meant it for you, Green Eyes. And I was like, excuse me. I'm sorry, Whit. Yeah. And he had real game. He still does. And so I was like, okay. And he's like, where are you at? And so I told him, like, I lived a couple blocks from there. And so he went to the liquor store next door, grabbed a bottle of wine, and we hung out on the porch all night, stayed up all night. Gianna was like, this tattooed, bald drummer in a tank top is not coming in our house. So, like, if you want to hang out with this guy, he's staying on the porch.
Was she mad because...
No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. She had a boyfriend at the time, so it was fine. But no, she was cool about it. She was like, he's just not coming inside. So we sat out and drank a bottle of wine all night, and that
awesome.
Was that. Yeah. And then he drove back up here because he was from here.
Oh.
Yeah,
cool.
That's how I ended up here.
Pacifica?
From Pacifica.
Oh, cool.
And so,
epic.
yeah, when we're on the stoop, as we call it, we lovingly call it the stoop, where we hung out that first night. He was like, I'm from Pacifica, this little sleepy beach town, and I had never heard of it.
Yeah.
And so, so then that was it, and we started dating, back and forth dating, I say, because it was phone conversations between LA and here for a while, like 7 months, and then I came up, and that was that.
Wow. Nice.
Been together ever since.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why I'm here.
Coast.
Yeah, I really did. How lucky did I get?
Yeah.
Score.
You found a good
On
place
a number of levels. Yeah.
How did the opportunity with Lamont and Tonelli come about?
So when I moved here, so I met my husband in 2006. We dated back and forth for about 2.5 years, I want to say, like driving I-5 back and forth every weekend.
That's a lot of I-5.
That was a lot of I-5. That's a lot of stinky Coalinga. That's a lot of bathrooms on the side of the road. Like, that was a lot. And so finally we were like, all right, something is going to shift here. So what are we going to do? And I was in LA, and I loved LA, and it was all great there. But I found out, unfortunately, in LA that it wasn't going to be what I wanted it to be. I was getting cast for dumb shit, like be Paris Hilton's best friend, like stupid reality shows that was not why I was there. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what, unfortunately, the reality TV boom was really big, and I didn't want any part of it. And so, and I wasn't really I wasn't heading in another path. And so I thought, you know what, that's it. I'll wrap it up. We're good. I'm happy. And I'd been with Jay for 2.5 years. So I move up here, and I transferred. I was doing traffic in Los Angeles, and I transferred up here to the traffic company here, and I got that job. And we're going to get in the weeds again here in the radio world. But basically, so the girl who was on the Lamont and Tonelli show before her name was Mona. Her professional name is Mona. And she was my boss in the traffic company. And so she had worked for them, and two companies split, and she was the manager. So she had to stay with that company in order to keep her benefits as a manager. Mm-hmm. And so I was her fill-in. And she was like, hey, I can't keep doing Lamont Tinelli because these two companies are splitting. I'll pass the torch to you. And what she didn't know was the Bone was my target. When I moved here as a radio nerd, like I knew Lamont Tinelli. They're legends. They're freaking legends. The Bone is a legendary station. So that was my target. That was like the dead center of my target. And she didn't know that, but she was like, oh, you're a fill-in. They're comfortable with you. They like you. So it's yours.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty
And
sweet.
so that's how I became their traffic reporter. And I did that for, there's no hard timeline, but I like naturally progressed. When you go on a show like Lamont Tinelli that had been on at that time 25 years, I think.
Yeah.
You're very cautious. Like you speak when you feel like you've got something to say.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You're not butting in on any kind of conversation between those two. Mm-hmm. So over time I would add where it made sense.
Yeah.
And I started to kind of work my way in, and then over time it became, more of a third co-host.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you've become such a key part of the Bones identity over the years. And I mean, the evolution from traffic reporter to, like you said, chiming in more and more here and there, becoming that third co-host, then program director and midday host. I mean, how would you describe your evolution, and did that kind of go exactly to plan?
Not at all.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I would say my plan was to be on the air at the Bone. That was the plan. That was the target, right? And then I got on traffic, and traffic is one of those things. It's a really tough job. People don't understand the beast that is traffic, because it is. It's much like news. It changes every 2 seconds. You have to ad lib a lot. You have to read CHP code. Like it's a hard gig.
And people kind of rely on it.
Yeah, they do.
Bit.
Yeah. And especially again at the time when I was in traffic, you didn't have all the apps that you have now and all that. So it was a really tough gig. So I started doing that, and then I started filling in and just kind of jumping in the conversation. They would throw things at me, and it was very organic for a very long time. And then Steven Seaweed, he retired, and he and I were very close. He was like a mentor of mine. On the morning show, he would come in the midday at 10 a.m. every day, and we would always have conversations. It was really great. And he was really the one that recommended me for middays when he retired. And he was on the air for 44 years. Not solely at the Bone, but just his entire career. So those were giant shoes to fill. Terrifying. But I got that gig, and I filled those shoes, knock on wood, and with his blessing and his guidance and all of that. And
That's
I
awesome.
can't send enough love to him. And so I did middays. So it came in waves, right?
Yeah.
So I did middays for several years. And then our program director quit sort of abruptly. Like literally got in his car and drove away.
Oh my God.
So I kind of took over some of those responsibilities just because that's my nature. I'm very organized. I'm very type A. I have everything all my little ducks in a row. And so I just started doing the schedules and sending everything out and making everything organized. And I think corporate took note of that. She's already there kind of thing. You'll notice in my career, being the warm body in the room has popped up a few times. Thank God for that. But, I have to give a massive shout out to both Lamont and Tinelli. They really went behind my back, and they sent emails to corporate, and they were like, "You're looking for a new program director. She's right in front of you. She's sitting here. She works here. She's devoted.
Yeah.
Nobody cares more about the station. What are you thinking?" They were calling me boss lady a month before I even got the gig. I didn't even want the gig, by the way. That's a true story.
Yeah.
I've said that, and it sounds very it sounds kind of like an asshole statement. I don't even want it, but I couldn't even imagine that. That was never in my bingo card.
Yeah.
But when they started calling me boss lady, and then I found out later that they had told them to hire me. And so one day my current boss now, he calls up and he's like, "Why haven't you tried for the gig?" And I was like, I don't want it. What? No, thank you. Pass. And he was like, "No, I think you could do this." I just didn't believe in myself at that time. I didn't know what I was doing. But they saw something and they hired me, and Lamont Tinelli really, he pushed me up the whole time. It was pretty incredible.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was one of my questions too, because Breaking Ground is the first female program director at 107.7. Did you meet any resistance with that? Was anybody, did you butt heads with anybody?
Yeah, what was really, really sad about that is not directly. No one in my life or that I knew came to me and said, you can't do this or you shouldn't do this or any of that. I found out later that somebody who I was close with had said that there was no way I would succeed doing it because I was a mother. And that really bummed me out.
Yeah.
They were like, you need a man that doesn't have kids and no distractions. That's the only person that can run a radio station, was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I haven't actually dealt with a lot of that, like, man shit in radio, believe it or not, even though I'm almost always, or at least until I hired Nikki Blackback, I was almost always the only girl in the room when it came to, like, jocks and stuff.
I feel like especially in rock and roll.
Definitely.
Radio,
Definitely.
male dominated.
But all the males, I've been so lucky. They've been so supportive and wonderful. Like, I didn't have that experience. But when I found out that this person had told other people that, like, she'll never succeed because she's a mom, like, that hurt.
More drive.
Oh, fuck yeah. I was like, thank you for the gasoline under my butt now. That fire's burning so hard.
Yeah.
And now it's been 4 years since I've been PD. I've been there 13 years total.
And what can you tell us about the split between Lamont and Tonelli? I don't know what happened there, but I know Tonelli's not there.
Yeah, no, Tonelli's not there. So last November, they both were let go.
Oh, wow.
Purely for financial reasons.
Wow.
Yeah. The company had, radio is making a big shift right now. And, well, not right this second, but over the last couple of years, finances are different. There's a lot coming into the fold. And so radio has had to adjust to a lot of things. And so financially, they had to make some really tough choices. And Lamont and Tonelli, they were one of them. And so they have an agent. And during late November, all of December, in the first week of January, their agent and Cumulus, our parent company, were going back and forth trying to figure out the finances. And they worked it out that Lamont could come back and Tonelli did not. Tonelli, I will say, is living his best life. I won't say retired because he very adamantly was like, I'm not retiring. This is not my call. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I will say, Tonell was very busy with his social life. And he slid right into that kind of life. And I love that for him because he has, Tonelli is the most popular person I know. I call him the mayor of the Bay Area. Like, he knows everyone. Everyone loves him. You know, he is the man at every place he goes. So he's cool. He's fine.
Was Tonelli the announcer for the Niners?
He still is.
He still is.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's separate of Cumulus.
Yeah.
So he still is.
I remember when the Niners game would be on, my dad would be like, turn on 107.7.
Yeah,
I'm like, why would they have the Niners
I
game?
know. Yeah, and a lot of people think that that's like a bone thing because we're also the home of the Niners on the radio. We play the Niners games.
Yeah.
So there's confusion there, but it is a separate gig. So he still is doing that.
You guys still do the thing with Joe Stanley?
No, Joe Staley. No, we don't. Well, we have a new person every season. And so last season it was Tabor Pepper. And he was awesome. And he got let go by the Niners, and I was so sad. Just because he was like a friend of ours, but these things happen in NFL. So we're going to have somebody new this season. I can't say who it is yet, but we'll have somebody new, and we'll be doing that every other week. We'll interview a 49er.
First letter of first name.
Can't even do that. Can't even do that. Dude, I was like, Kittle. Come on.
Oh, he would be great.
Right? Wouldn't he make so much sense?
Yeah.
And he's funny.
He's funny. He's rock and roll. He's edgy.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're probably too afraid of what we might get out of him because, like, we're a little,
Censors.
deranged. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think they're like, I'm not so sure about that. But
Although I have always respected that about 107.7. You guys, like, I think you can still say bitch. Like, you can still, it's pretty funny. You'll be listening and it'll be like,
we get away with a lot.
Yeah.
We get away with a lot. I think it's because we always have. It's been an interesting turn in culture, like, I will say one of the things about Lamont Tonelli that I don't think they get enough credit for is they have evolved a lot quietly. Like, over time, things that used to be funny or used to be acceptable, we have realized and evolved as humans that they're not anymore. And Lamont and Tonelli have recognized that, and they have quietly, like, moved away from some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that shows how much pros they are,
Yeah.
That was 35 years?
35 years total. Jeez. And they're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
nuts,
yeah.
they're incredible.
They deserve it.
They really do.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what's one on-air moment that you'll never forget? I mean, funny, awkward, meaningful.
Funny, awkward, meaningful. Can I do like a quick story on all of those?
Yep.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, so funny. Oh, this is an embarrassing moment. So funny, when I was in Los Angeles, I did a whole bunch of different stations because when you're a news reporter and traffic reporter, entertainment reporter, sports reporter, you do everything. But I was on this juggernaut news station called KFWB. And at the time, it was really, really huge. And it was my first day. I just got done training, and they're like, okay, it's your turn to do the news. Literally first day, first newscast, all of it, right? And I'm like, I'm in it. Right now, I'm doing, tits and ass jokes on Lamont Antonelli's show for the last 13 years. But before that, I was actually a serious news reporter. I know it's hard to imagine. So I'm ready to go, right? And in the middle of my news broadcast, an earthquake happens. Like a pretty significant one.
Okay.
And I don't remember what the number was. Let's just call it a 4.8 or whatever it was. And so I'm like, in the middle of my broadcast, I'm like, as you may have just felt. It's hard to even get it out. I'm like, as you may have just felt, it was a 4-point magnitude earthquake. And I'm like, and then I just freeze and I start sweating. I'm like, I just said magnitude. Like, are you kidding me?
So
and
awesome.
everyone in the newsroom, which was packed at the time, because right before this, we had just had a high-speed chase, which happened all the time in LA.
Yeah.
But when that happens, or when you had like a jumper, like a bridge jumper, an overpass jumper, like people were just spinning.
Yeah.
People everywhere.
Yeah.
So everyone had just kind of come down from this chase, and everyone's standing there as I'm giving this report, and I said magnitude. So that sucked. That was super embarrassing. They didn't kick me off the station. Everybody got a kick out of it at my expense. So that was funny. Awkward. I got into a battle in the air with Gene Simmons one time. Gene Simmons of Kiss. He had been on a press tour and was kind of being an asshole that week on like Good Morning America, and he was just being very Gene. Very chauvinistic. Now that's saying a lot because, I've been on the Lamont Antonelli show and now the Lamont show for a long time. Like, I know joking chauvinism.
Yeah.
I know chauvinism to be very cliche and that kind of shit. But if you're actually being chauvinistic to be a dick, that's a different beast.
Yeah.
And he was being that guy. And so we kind of started sparring on the air a little bit, and I was calling him out, and he was not ready for it, did not like it at all. So it was awkward, but it was also like, fuck you.
That's
it was
awesome.
like, yeah,
That's
it was
good.
like,
Yeah, I love that.
because I'm a Kiss fan. Like, I love Kiss, but I don't like Gene's attitude in a lot of ways. And I was proud of that moment, but it was awkward. And then the most meaningful moment was interviewing Bob Seger. So my dad passed away in 2006, and my dad was, I was very close friend. I was like my best friend, and he loved Bob Seger. Him. And so now when I hear Bob Seger, it's like getting a hug from my dad in heaven. Yeah. And so getting to tell Bob Seger that, getting to tell him what he means to me and my father, who's no longer here, and telling him your voice is like my dad reaching down from heaven and holding me, like that moment. You don't get better than that. And Bob was so receptive to it. I think it kind of took his breath away a little bit.
I really hope I get this right, but I mean, Bob Seger in my mind, I always go to skate video where I believe it's Guy Mariano had his part to Night Moves.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's not a song that you would typically think to be in like a skate
Video,
part or anything, and it fits so well. It's such a good song, too.
And that's Bob's music because it's so full of heart, and so it can kind of go anywhere and do anything. I think, and that's why he hit my dad so much, and I mean that's what I was raised to.
Yeah,
so he means a lot to us. So to tell him that was pretty
that's really cool
and terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're on air 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
You have Soundwaves TV.
Yes.
How do you just that's a busy schedule. How do you show up with such a big energy to everything?
Oh, and also, how old are your kids?
I have one child. He is 9.
Okay.
He's a rock star.
So that's
Cody.
Also, that's in the mix.
Just
That's
banjo
crazy.
camp?
Yes, he did do
saying?
banjo
Yeah,
camp.
yeah.
Yes. He's a banjo player and a drummer.
That's awesome.
I have a couple roles in my life. Number one, Cody's always first. My son's name is Cody, after my father, who I was just speaking of. He's number one. I'll tell you a story that kind of hurt my heart yesterday. I'm friends with Lizzie Hale in Hailstorm, and she had a gig in Sacramento opening up for Shinedown. No, was it? Yeah, I think it was Shinedown. I was more worried about Hailstorm. Anyway, and I was like, I want to go, right? But it's like 2.5 hours with traffic or whatever. And my son had rock camp performance at 6. And so I asked Lizzie, I was like, what time you go on? She's like, 7:45. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make it unless I miss Cody's performance. I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm missing Cody's performance. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what in my life is really fun and cool and like rock and roll or, in the industry, any of that stuff, it doesn't matter. It's about my son. So that's number one. Sure. Number two is I don't work on Sundays. Sunday's family day.
That's awesome.
So that's a biggie. And then number 3, I work out every day. I do something every day for myself, whether it's at the gym with my trainer Topher, or I'm running, or I'm doing yoga, or whatever the case may be. I'm always working out because energy begets energy, and I'm a real nerd about that.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, I'm too tired to work out. No, you got that the wrong way. Like you get energy from working out.
Yeah,
and so you got to keep that fire burning. So I do that every day, and I'm super type A, and I'm very organized.
Yeah.
So I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and like I have my little list every day.
Yeah.
Awesome. So and with Soundwaves TV, I have a great crew. They do a ton. I mean, I'm just a co-host and co-producer. That's like a big group effort.
Yeah.
And at the Bone, I have an assistant program director, Baby Huey. Shout out, love him. My life would not work without him.
Yeah.
Like where I stop at the Bone, like where anything I do, I'm like, oh, and he'll just catch it just like that.
Sweet.
That's cool.
It's great.
Yeah.
That helps a lot when you have that kind of backup.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Bay Area listeners love your authenticity. And I mean, there's a reason you have 13 years in the books here.
Thank you.
And how has living here influenced your voice as a broadcaster? Because you kind of came on from the start as an outsider.
Definitely, yeah.
And now that you've been here for so long, how has that changed your love for like the music and community, and how has that impacted your broadcasting?
I love local musicians, whatever that means, wherever I'm at. So whenever I was back at the Cat when I was 19, that was my first local music show. So I've always had a local music show anytime I had an opportunity. So like the local music scene in the Bay Area is so important to me because you guys are really lucky that in the Bay Area, you grew up with generations, literally, of music. You've got this really beautiful quilt of music that has come from here in all kinds of genres. We don't have that so much in Southern Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We have a lot of country rock stars, Garth Brooks and Reba McEntire, people like that are from Oklahoma, but that's where it's at. Here it's so rich, and so I've been able to like tap into a lot of that because people care intensely about their music here, which I love. Yeah. And I'm an advocate. One of my big goals in life is being an advocate for music, especially musicians that aren't signed, that aren't heard as much.
Definitely.
Hence Soundwaves TV, hence the local shows that we have on the weekends and all of that. So being a part of that community in the Bay Area is really important to me. I will say it's intimidating to come into a place like the Bay Area because locals only is a real thing here.
Yeah,
definitely.
And it's a real thing here in each community, Half Moon Bay, Pacifica, like wherever you're at, that's like, it's your turf.
Yeah.
And so that was a little scary. I don't know how long it takes to be a local here, but I've been here. I moved here in 2008. So whatever that means to anybody, I don't know when I get to graduate, but maybe one day.
A couple more years.
We'll see. Yeah. Let me know. Let me know when I've made it past that line.
But yeah, and I think it's also something with like the history at a lot of the venues in the Bay.
Oh my God.
It's great. I mean,
dude,
like
the Fillmore, the Warfield, and everything Bill Graham did for this place.
Yeah.
And like it's incredible.
and smaller ones. Like I love Bottom of the Hill.
Oh God, Bottom of the Hill is like my
It's-
favorite venue.
It's the
Are you
best.
kidding?
It's the best.
I saw Green Day on MTV at Bottom of the Hill, 1,000 years ago when I was a
Yeah.
little kid. The Gilman, that's another
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Like there's all of these places, not as many as there should be because a lot of them have closed down.
Unfortunately, yes.
Rest in Peace Slims is an example of that. But my husband grew up, he was in bands in the 90s. He toured like all 50 states in the 90s in a band called Born Naked. And he has seen the rise and fall and rise again of all of these places. And it's, it's heartbreaking and it's inspiring all at the same time.
Yeah. That's a really good answer.
Yeah.
I'm bummed, dude.
Yeah. I was gonna say this is David's question. I don't know why I'm asking it, but before we get there, I like going back to what you said about people here really caring about the music.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that until I went on a mountain bike trip with my dad and his friends, and I was like, I have a pretty good sized like portable speaker that plays loud music, whatever. So I made like a little playlist because where we're going, we don't have service, so on Spotify you gotta like download. All this shit.
Yeah.
And I had this playlist. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a hit around the campfire. And I start playing music.
These guys are all like late 40s to 60s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started playing music. I didn't realize they had a rule. It's like
everybody gets one veto for a DJ.
Oh.
So if you play a bad song, somebody's like, "I'll fucking veto."
Oh, wow. I love
my
this
God.
group already.
It was so heartbreaking to like play music, but then the next year I came back, I was like, "Oh, I got these guys. I got it."
That's hard though. I will say, like, that's very vulnerable. Like building a playlist.
Sucks.
I've been a DJ for 23 years, and people are like, make me a playlist for my wedding, for instance, or whatever, which I've done 1,000 times. But that is super intimidating.
Yeah.
Because people are very freaking judgy.
It's fun too, though, because like, so the deal is, one DJ hops on. As soon as everybody uses their one veto, that DJ's kicked off the speaker.
Oh.
So if somebody
It's
uses
hardcore.
somebody uses their veto early,
Yeah, you
and
don't-
somebody is holding on to their veto until the end, they can just sit there forever. So
They'll let the worst songs play.
Yeah.
I love this game. I went in on this.
If somebody it just wants to be an ass at the end and they have one veto, I'll start playing like kind of like bad music.
Like on
And
purpose.
they'll be
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, this is great." And everyone's like, "Oh fucking come on!" So funny.
It's a good time.
I have to know. I'm sorry. I'm usually the interviewer. I'm never, I'm not usually in this role.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite artists? I'm just curious.
Ooh,
And there's no judgment, by the way. I'm not going to veto anything.
This is like a month or two before he passed away. That's when I found Ozzy Osbourne.
Wow.
Yeah. And
So
I was
very
like,
recent.
I probably annoyed my girlfriend so much.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, "Oh, dude, Ozzy this, Ozzy that," and then I started watching once he passed away, I started watching the show over again.
Sure.
I was like, "This guy's so fucking cool."
He's amazing.
Definitely Ozzy, Bad Company,
Oh, good choice.
and Sublime.
Oh, God.
Here's a good question. If you could go back in time, dead or alive, what 3 bands would you see with all the original members?
Oh, Janis Joplin, Led Zeppelin, and gosh, that's to narrow it down past that. Sublime is really interesting because,
So short.
yeah, and like Bradley was so incredible, but now Jacob, is in his role.
it's
I'm
really
friends
cool
with
to watch.
Jacob, and I love him so much. I'm so glad he took that crown because he very well deserves it, and not just because he's the son, because he's awesome.
Yeah.
Played OPL before. I think that's very hard. I think the 2 very easy ones for me are Janis Joplin and Led Zeppelin. I mean, I hold my breath for Led Zeppelin to get back together. That's never going to happen, but a girl can hope.
Yeah. How about Jane's Addiction?
Oh, you did your research.
I
Look at you.
At work, I work for my uncle doing landscaping. His old work trucks, you can't play music on your phone.
Oh,
So I listen to you guys.
love
in the
those work trucks. Yes.
And I think it was
funny.
the other day.
Yeah, it was.
Lamont was talking to you about
Yes.
Jane's Addiction.
Okay, so
And I
little
was like,
backstory.
I
I
wrote
won't.
it down.
I won't diverge too hardcore on Jane's Addiction, but Jane's Addiction is like one of my favorite bands of all time, and my husband. It's one of the bands that my husband and I bonded over when we started dating. It was like, oh my god, this song and like passing lyrics and all that cheesy shit. And so we got to see. We've seen them a handful of times, but right before the shit went down last year, we flew to New Orleans. We own a house in New Orleans, and so they were coming on tour, and they were going to NOLA, and we were like, oh, let's just go back. We'll go back home and we'll go see them. So we did, and that was like 2 shows before they like fought it out on stage, and the whole
That
thing
video,
burned.
yeah.
Yeah. And so at least we got to see him one more time. But the other day when we were talking about it, now there's a lawsuit. All the members of Jane's are suing
Jeez.
Perry Farrell, and it's a
Yeah,
whole
it's
thing. So I'm
crazy.
like, that's never going to happen again. But at least I got to see it. So whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
It's tough.
I would say for my 3, I guess not 3, but I guess if you're talking about old music, we're gonna go with can't go wrong with Sublime.
Yep.
Grew up listening to a lot of Led Zeppelin.
I love that you said that's old music, by the way. Go ahead.
But honestly, I just listen to so much Southern Hemisphere, New Zealand, Australian punk rock, and surf rock.
Of course, that would make sense.
The Terrys, Dune Rats, Skeggs,
Wow.
Ocean Alley.
Yeah.
Ocean Alley's
but-
a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, love those guys. And there's a Skeggs, Dune Rats show. I think it's Santa Cruz. I think it's
Ooh.
Catalyst coming up. So
Oh, I love the
I got to
Catalyst.
get tickets for that. Yeah, and
That's
Catalyst.
super cool.
But I just saw something about the Catalyst. The owners are selling, and the lease for the Catalyst is up in 28. I think so. It's like fingers crossed
Dude,
that they keep it there because
gotta.
I mean, growing up, that was if we wanted concerts, it's like you either go to SF
Yeah.
or you go to the Catalyst. 'Cause
Yeah.
the Catalyst, It's the Catalyst.
It's legendary, and
Yeah.
they've got great bands that come through there.
And my first show was Afro Man at the Catalyst.
Oh, holy
Mine
hell!
was Andre Nicotina at the
Oh
Catalyst.
wow!
Yeah.
Also played OPL.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Those are good
Brian's
shows.
really picking it up for a venue too.
Oh, yeah, Brian's
now
killing it.
Yeah.
He's getting really good artists over there.
Yeah, well, I mean that stage and that back.
Yeah.
I call it a beer garden, back venue, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call
yeah.
it. Is incredible.
It's pretty cool.
Oh God.
Yeah, the Landon McNamara show was awesome.
Oh, I bet. Yeah,
that
I've
was
seen
really
so
good.
many shows there. The 420 show was really fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been there 100 million times. It's like our backyard.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
Well, you can take the honors for your question.
Okay. First concert, best concert, last concert you went to.
Oh, okay. First concert was not legitimate. I snuck into it. So my brother's 4 years older than me, and he loved Motley Crue. And so they were on the Dr. Feelgood tour, which, like, off the top of my head, I want to say was like 89-ish, maybe. And so my mom took my brother and a couple of his friends to see Motley Crue on that Dr. Feelgood tour. And he, I think, was around 14. So I was probably around 9 or 10. Like, if that happened in 89, I was like, ish. Something around that. And way too young to be at a Motley Crue concert. So my mom drops him off. We go to Chuck E. Cheese, and then we come back, and we're waiting in the parking lot. And it's like halfway through Motley Crue, and my mom and her girlfriend are chitty-chatty, and I'm like, I gotta pee. And so this is the freaking late 80s, early 90s, and my mom's like, okay, go to the bathroom. So I get out of the van, which is mind-blowing to me now, being a mom of about that age. Like,
Yeah.
Mom!
Go find
What
a bathroom.
were you doing? Yeah, exactly. But she's like, go find a bathroom. So thankfully the bathroom was just right at the front gate. And so I went to the bathroom. Then I saw a hole in the fence. And I was like, ding. And so I crawled through the hole and I went out into the lawn, and it was crazy because I remember seeing Girls, Girls, Girls. They were playing that. And it was like lasers and strippers and poles and like all, I mean, I didn't know what a stripper was at the time, but now I know.
Yep.
My memories, I'm like, that's what that was. But it was wild. And then I came back out. So I watched, I don't know, a handful of songs. And I came back out, and there was this girl like passed out, shaved head, passed out, naked by a tree. And I remember walking by her, walking back to the van, and I was like, wow, this is rock and roll. That's probably one of the reasons I'm like in rock and roll radio to this day, because it was just so mind-blowing. That moment was crazy.
Yeah.
So that was my first legitimate concert was Garth Brooks, but it doesn't make as much of a story. So we go with Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Best concert, there's no way I can narrow it down. I go to a concert like almost every weekend of some sort. I mean,
Yeah.
it's part of the gig, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you some that stand out to me on a very personal level. Seeing Pearl Jam on my 25th birthday
That's awesome.
at the Forum in LA, only a few months after my dad had passed away, and I have a deep connection with Pearl Jam and my father. And Pearl Jam, like, if you were to ask me, and I answered very quickly, besides Janis Joplin, like, what's your favorite band? Like, it would be like Aerosmith, Pearl Jam. Like, those two would come out. And they're the band I'm most deeply related to their lyrics.
Okay.
And they're like on my funeral playlist, for instance.
Yeah.
So that show was incredible. Juliette Lewis and the Licks, if anybody knows, Juliette Lewis, great actress, also a rock star. She has an amazing band. She puts on an incredible show. I've seen her several times in very small venues. She's amazing. St. Paul and the Broken Bones. I don't know if you guys have ever seen him. Unfreaking believable. Nobody puts on a show like that.
Yeah.
I've been really lucky, you know. I mean, I've seen Aerosmith front row, and you know, the last part of your question there is last concert. The last concert I went to, like last live music, was my husband played the Guild Theater over Menlo Park with Chevy Metal.
Oh
Yeah, so it was Chevy
okay.
Metal, and
Yeah.
my husband's band is Stateland Empire. So they played. That was like 2 weeks ago. So I saw them. That was amazing. That was my birthday night show. And then right before that was Metallica at Levi's. I got to be in the snake pit with my son and my husband. Like,
Oh my God.
my little, he was 8 at the time. He just had a birthday, but he was 8 at the time, just like, you know, rocking out. It was unbelievable. Zach Wilde is like, you know, Pantera played that night. And so Zach Wilde's like ripping in front of him. And one of the members of Stateland Empire is holding my son above his head, and Cody's just like this. And he has long hair, right? And he has this little battle vest on with all his patches, and Zach's like laughing at him. It was incredible.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool moment.
Yeah. That was a crazy lineup for that.
Oh.
Levi's. And that was like
they had
nights in a row.
2 nights. I had Friday night and I had a Sunday night, and
Yeah.
it was just I mean, Limp Bizkit on Friday night was
Yeah.
really fun. Like,
That sounds like
yeah,
fun,
yeah. Sunday night was killer. It was great
Yeah.
all the way around.
Well, since he passed away recently, what do you think Ozzy Osbourne did for the progression of music? I know it's a loaded question, and there's a lot to say there, but
what
Careful.
did he not do? Yeah. Well, I mean, we have to talk about Black Sabbath because they invented metal.
Yeah.
So anybody who loves metal knows that and loves them for that. I am a huge Sabbath fan. It's one of my favorite bands. I walk down the aisle to Black Sabbath.
Nice. What song?
Fluff. It's
Okay.
not one that most people know. It's an instrumental. It's beautiful. Like a lot of people don't know it because it's not on like you can't find it on like Instagram. You can't pull it up. You kind of have to have it on vinyl to find it. But it's so good. But Ozzy, I will say, so Black Sabbath invented metal, and that alone, like that can't be overstated. The power of that. Yeah. Most of anybody who loves rock, most of your favorite bands were inspired by, if not directly trying to be, Black Sabbath in some form or fashion. But it's not often you have an artist come out of a band like that, go solo, and then be just as big, if not honestly bigger than their origin.
Yeah.
And then for him to like take that rock stardom on the television and then open up the current Addams family, if you will, the Osbournes, to us, and like, us see what that world is like. That was his whole nother level.
Crazy thing to do.
Yeah.
A crazy thing to do.
Yeah.
And he's so freaking charming.
Yeah.
And he's a different kind of rock star. He's a different breed of rock star because he is your working class hero, blue collar type guy.
Yeah, yeah.
We interviewed Ozzy on The Bone, and he was talking years ago. He was talking about his first jobs, and a couple of his first jobs was like tuning car horns, which is like what?
Yeah.
Because he grew up in Birmingham in the middle of factory town, doing hard. Like his other one was working in a slaughterhouse, like cutting sheep guts out.
Yeah.
So you go from that, and he literally said in that interview, like, this can't be it for me. Like, there's got to be more.
Yeah.
And so he tried to be a rock star, and look where he ended up.
Yeah.
So he's a different kind of story. He's a madman that's just would charm the pants off you. He was a great dude.
That show is so funny. I was watching
the Osbournes?
Yeah.
Oh, I have it on DVD, the whole thing. Yes, it's fantastic.
Started watching it again the other night.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend's like, it's like they signed up for this, but Ozzy didn't
Did
know
it? Yeah.
what was
Which
happening.
is pretty accurate because
Yeah,
Sharon S's manager was like,
beer?
yes, exactly. It's one of my favorite moments ever.
going in my room?
Got my beer?
Well, let's think about it, honey. You're the beer thief.
All the Instagram videos that came out this week, I was like, oh
so
my God,
good.
I forgot how good it was. And all the
Yeah.
dogs running around, the dog poop, and him just,
His
he's-
Pomeranian when
Yes.
he's on FaceTime with Sharon, and he's like, show me, I think the dog's name's Jack or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, show me Jack. And the dog just comes on, and he's like, oh, what's up, buddy?
He was so lovable.
Yeah,
everybody, he was the Prince of Darkness. So everybody thought he was like practically Satan. I'm from the Bible Belt. So I loved him in the beginning when I was really young because I wasn't supposed to. And so, he's this dark guy, but he had this real fluffy, warm side to him.
He also I think he understood marketing.
He did.
and
Well, Sharon did, certainly.
Sharon did, definitely.
Does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he loved, I don't know if you guys have seen on TikTok or Instagram, there's this moment of him when he was much younger, and Jack, his son was very, very young, maybe 5. And there's this moment where he's on stage after a show, and he's showing Jack, like, what do we do? Did you see this video?
I saw that, yeah. So
And
cute.
He teaches him how to do his sign off. I love you all. That's so heartfelt, but that's who he was. He wasn't like a shiny, polished rock star. He was like the everyman's rock star.
Yeah.
We all could relate to this madman in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you put your hand to your heart.
Yes!
And
Oh!
you take a bow over here.
Oh!
And you say thank you, or
Oh my God. If
That's
you
so
watch
good.
that and you don't get teary,
Yeah.
you need to check your pulse.
That's
That is
really good.
so heartwarming.
But I think the show did a good job because, like you're saying, he was the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
But then you watch the show and you're like, he's such a sweet
He's
guy.
such a sweetheart.
They
Totally.
understood how to sell, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So with your voiceover work, podcasting,
Yeah.
TV hosting, all growing at the moment too, which is awesome in a time where
Thank God.
radio is.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself expanding into more creative projects outside of that, or are you kind of comfortable with what you're doing and where you're at right now?
I think I would love for those creative aspects to grow themselves. I've done voiceover work as long as I've been in radio, which is, over 2 decades now. Soundwaves TV is something I'm really proud of because we lift up the music community and bands, and that's so important to me. It's been one of my most important things in my entire career. I will say The one thing that struggles, you go back to like, talking about how I do it all or balance or whatever. One of the things that definitely gets thrown to the wayside is my personal podcast, which I love so much, which is Rock Your Life. I did that for several years. And then when I became program director, I had to go to like get my master's in radio to do that job, and everything sort of went like, if it wasn't my family or program director, nothing else happened, and so I'm kind of on hiatus right now, which bums me out. So I'd really like to get back into that because that's my baby. Yeah. That's just me. That's like me on a microphone saying whatever's in my head, and maybe there's a guest in there, maybe there's not, but it doesn't matter. I'm not doing that for anybody but myself. It's like therapy, and I need that back in my life. So I hope I can do that more.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a young woman that is looking to get into broadcasting or radio today?
Go for it. I mean, I don't really feel like in 2025 that there are as many hurdles. I would say, and this is going to be crass, so if you have kids in the room, cover ears, but don't think about your vagina. Like, don't think about being a girl, because it doesn't matter. Like, I think a lot of girls get tripped up. Like, it's one thing people always ask me. I was really pissed off at myself one time. The very first time I did an interview, like on the news, they were like, "Oh, you're, first female, whatever." And I really wanted like a super important answer to that. But the real answer is I don't think about it that often.
Yeah. Just doing the job.
Doing the job. Like I wake up and I go to work. I have my goals and my little to-do list, and I don't really ever wake up and go, I got a vagina, let's go. Like, that's just not it. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to be crass, but that's the truth. It's like, I'm just doing my thing. And like when people ask me that and I look back, Lizzie Hale, again, of Hailstorm, and I were just talking about this because she was the only female at the last Black Sabbath show.
Oh, wow.
We can talk about intimidating. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And she was keenly aware of that. She knew she had a platform and she needed to like represent. That's a big deal. So we talked about that a little, but she even agreed. She was like, I don't really think about it unless people think about it and talk about it and ask me about it, So I would just say, like, whatever your goal is, radio, audio, podcasting, jump in and go for it. Cause there's really no rules anymore, which is so fun.
Yeah, definitely. That's like, my girlfriend and I talk about like future in life when we're having kids together.
Yeah.
I'm like, kind of want to be a girl dad.
Yeah.
She's like, really? I'm like, I'm going to raise them just like I would a little boy.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And and well done already, Papa. Like, seriously, that's a big deal. Well, I grew up with only like male cousins. I only had a brother. All my best friends, most of my best friends were boys. So I'm like a guy's girl.
Yeah.
I always have been. And, in my radio career, most certainly as well. So it's just kind of been my whole life.
Yeah. I grew up getting my ass kicked by my older sister.
I love it.
On
love her.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Fucking rolling around on the yard. I'm like, I can't fight you.
I was my brother's wrestling sparring partner.
Oh,
so
really?
Same.
Nice.
I get it.
Yeah.
And then looking back on your journey from Sulphur to San Francisco, what are you most proud of throughout that journey?
That I never gave up.
Yeah.
That I never stopped. Even when, like, I remember in Hollywood, the poorness was real.
Yeah.
I had bad credit. I couldn't get another credit card because I put money on it to go to that first LA trip. So I didn't have money, didn't have credit, didn't have anything, not a pot to pee in. I remember like ordering pizza and having it like curl up on the edges. When pizza gets like old, it just starts to like bend. I remember like, 10 days in and like still eating that pizza, and it just really hard times not figuring out like how to pay anything, robbing Peter to pay Paul, but like never giving up because I could have always gone home.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad at the time when he was still alive, and my brother, and like they would have accepted me. But I just didn't. It was like never say die. Goonies never say die. That's one thing Sean taught me. Goonies never say die.
Yeah.
That was really important to me.
That's epic.
Yeah.
Well, you're already mentoring so many people just by doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
What kind of legacy do you hope to leave?
Poof.
Especially in rock radio and broadcasting.
Well, you figured out by now I'm kind of a Morticia. So I'm a little bit of a dark horse, and I think about legacy a lot. I think about death a lot. It's probably the most important thing to me for whatever reason. And I think what's most important is that people knew I gave a shit, like whether it's my family, like that I led with kindness and that I led with love, and that I always raised my son with that. He was number one priority all the time and always will be. And my husband, like I mean, he's my king, he's my everything. And, he knows that I care most about what happens inside the walls of our home, and everything else, can just sort of fall away.
Yeah.
But professionally, I really care about the music, and the musicians that make it. I feel a real debt of gratitude because of my love of music. Like, I don't know how you guys feel. A lot of people in my interviews over my, 2 decades have said, like, music saved my life. And I feel that way.
Yeah.
There are certain bands, certain artists, there are certain lyrics I prioritize above people, like that they mean so much to me, I feel a debt of gratitude, a service that I lift up music and musicians, and I empower bands with the platform that I have.
Yeah.
That I can help push that up. That's really important to me.
Definitely. Yeah.
I definitely have I don't know, along those lines, just eras in my life that I just associate with music.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of with everybody. It's you go through these phases, and it's that's what I was doing at the time.
Sure.
And you can just always go back to music, and you hear it, and it just throws you right back.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful
remarkable.
for that. Yeah.
You can connect it with times in your life, with people in your life.
Yep.
Moments and memories, I mean, there are certain Smashing Pumpkins songs, when I hear them, I'm right back driving my little car as a 16-year-old crying over a, busted up relationship or some stupid shit. It's amazing that it does that to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
it's
and
magic.
also in line with that, it's it's nice, especially with your job, like how you're saying you want to lift up music and the musicians that make it. But because I can only listen to the songs and playlists that I have so much. I gotta listen to The Bone. And so you guys, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. This
I
is
love
nice.
that.
It's refreshing.
Yeah.
It's a new outlook, so it's cool.
I love
It's really
that.
cool.
The Bone, this week, entirely has been really heavy. There's been a lot of loss in the celebrity world, but most importantly for us at the Bone, Ozzy. And it really showcased the power of radio and the Bone, because I was actually recording a podcast at the time. I was on someone else's podcast, Lamont's podcast, on his Patreon, and we were right in the middle, and I looked down at my phone. My phone was it was in my lap, and it was going bzz, 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 and I was like, that's not normal. And I looked down, and I see Ozzy died. Holy shit, Ozzy died. All these things, and I'm like, ugh. And I just went white as a ghost, and I said to him, we were recording, and I point that out because that's important. We were recording, and I was like, oh my God, Ozzy died. And he and I went in just straight into work mode, flipped around, literally physically just turned around, went back on the air, hit the microphones, dumped all the music we had planned for the day, started throwing in Black Sabbath and Ozzy nonstop. And in that moment, that's the power of radio.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love podcasts, and I do, I'm on multiple of them, I have my own, I love them, but most of them are recorded previously.
Yeah.
A lot of people record them months in advance, they'll batch record. So they're not timely. That's the spark of radio. That's the power that it has, right? Is that I call it connective tissue to other humans. We literally hit the mic, we're live, and any one of 7 million people that live in the Bay Area and X amount, amount that can type, on the Bone app. We were hearing from people in Portugal and all kinds of places. Yeah, cool. Germany, all kinds of places. Just like that, you're with them.
Yeah.
And you're playing, Hand of Doom. And they're like, oh my God, I haven't heard this song in 10 years or whatever it is. And they have memories. That right there is why I personally think, and I pray to God I'm right, that radio will never truly die, because it is magic. There is something magic about it.
And just to clarify for the people that are watching or listening, what you do is live. You guys are not recording
we're
the show the day before and releasing it.
No.
It's live.
And I will not give any away secrets of anyone else. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of shows that you think are live that are not.
And I think that probably amounts to the magic behind 107.7 is that you guys are truly live.
Oh yeah. Lamont will throw some crazy shit at me in the morning and I don't see it coming. Not much, there's a lot that's not planned. Of course, the bits, quote unquote, the bits you hear, when we toss it to Gary Busey to cover or something, we know we're going there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it could go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's the fun. That's the magic.
Exactly.
That's radio.
Dude, the Donald Trump impersonator that you guys had on today was so good.
Oh, that's our boy Eric.
Funny.
He's great.
Yeah, that was really good.
He's so good at what he does.
Yeah.
I kind of hate him.
But the impersonation was good, but the comedy behind it was fucking hilarious.
Well, and that's written. This is a little bit, behind the scenes, into the weeds. But Lamont, he's the brainchild, obviously. But we have another producer, Smelly, Eric Smelly, who is another, like, he's just a genius. And so they come up with this like riffs and these ideas. And then it's just, you get people, like I said, like, you don't know what you're going to do and you don't know what happens and you just throw shit at the wall and then it's improv and it's great, right? It's just fun. You have to trust each other to like catch it and go. Yeah. It's great.
It's fun to listen to.
And by the way, Eric, who does our Donald Trump impersonation, he does like a ton of impersonations. Really? He's like also a John Travolta, and he's like does all these other, or the Pope. And what's crazy is sometimes we'll get him on the phone and he'll do like 3 at one time. So he'll do one in the mic. He'll be on the phone with another. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger over here. Like, it's nutty. He's so talented. Yeah, well, it's really cool.
And speaking of something that can go in any direction at any moment, what's next for you? I mean, I know you got your family, you got the radio, you got the TV. I mean, what's next?
I'm open. I like to flow with the universe. When I walked in, we were briefly talking about, I'm a very spiritual person and I'm very in tune with everything going on around me at all times. I'm a moon child, if you can't see my necklace around me. So I like to follow the vibes I'm feeling, the energy I'm feeling, and where the universe is taking me. I'm very keenly aware of that. So I'm always open at any time for anything. I think life works best like that. Yeah. So I would say in my personal life, my family, it couldn't be better. My little rock star child. My husband and I are so proud. He's a banjo player, drummer. He's in rock camp right now. Like, he is killing it. About to go into 4th grade. Like, and he's just a dream child. Thank God. Professionally, with the bone is radio in general is in a really interesting place. We're thriving, but it's going over sort of a bridge. Yeah. Radio is turning in more to like audio entirely. Podcasting and streaming. We have a massive stream audience, as I mentioned earlier. Like, we have listeners from all over the world, which is really interesting. So I think the way that next 6 months to a year plays out in radio will kind of guide me into what that happens. Like I said, I really would like to bring back Rock Your Life podcast. Like, that is such my baby, and I feel like
just a huge passion project.
It's just me at my purest form. It's me just. I don't even prepare for it. I'll have a topic in my head, and then I'll just open the mic. I don't edit it. I don't touch it. Wow. I start and I end, and that's it.
That's cool.
And you get the most raw, unfiltered me. And I like that because sometimes you don't know how you feel until you say shit out loud.
Yeah.
Definitely. Right? And then you're like, oh, wow, I didn't even know that was in there. That kind of thing. And then with Soundwaves TV, like, I'm just always honored to be with that crew. That crew is unbelievably talented. I mean, Dennis and Steve and Morris and Joe and myself, like, we get in a room and we do debates, and it's just like, it's chaos. It's awesome. I love it so much. Those guys are incredible.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So who knows?
Well, thanks for having a beer with the boys.
Are you kidding? This has been awesome. I love it.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh my God. This is great. Like, I'm so happy for you guys that you're doing this. Like, in this cool space with all the ghosts. They're happy too. They're proud too. Yeah. But no, like, it makes me really, really happy to see this happening. And I love, like, watching your other podcasts. Like, you guys really build up the coastal community and the spirit of what it is to be on the coast in a lot of ways. And I love that. You make a lot of connections for a lot of people, and that's important as the community goes. Yeah. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the people where to find you?
I am an Instagrammer. Does that make me like a boomer? I don't know. I'm not a Facebooker so much. I'm on there, but Instagram at Chasta Lynn, ChastaLynn. My son really wants to do YouTube, but like, he wants to we call ourselves the Rock Family because my husband's a drummer. He owns Music Center. I run a rock station. My son is a little rock star, so we're the Rock Family. My son desperately wants us to do a Rock Family YouTube.
You should.
So when you ask what's next, I'm like, begrudgingly, I'm like, that might be what's next. We'll see if the 9-year-old wins. We'll see. Yeah. But on Instagram mostly.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, I mean, I would try to do a sign off here, but I feel like you're much more in tune for this. So we're going to let Chasta take the lead on the sign off for Between Shifts.
Thank you for letting me be on Between the Shifts. Check them out. They're awesome on every form. I watched you on YouTube. I know it's an audio podcast. I love audio podcasts too, but on YouTube, I really enjoy that. And you'd be amazed what it really looks like in here. It's super cool.
We try to be as professional as we can.
No, you're super professional.
It's really fun.
And you have beer.
Chris always has beer.
To be honest, a lot of the beer in the fridge downstairs comes from customers giving me tips.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know who gave us Carl the Fog, but it's very good. That's great. Shout out to that person.
Exactly.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Sweet.
Yep.
Well, checking off. I can't really do any
See
better
you
than that.
later.
Yeah.
Good luck to the editor of this.
Welcome back to the Between Shifts podcast. This is our little recap. Kind of got to be quick because we're having some camera difficulties. Phone's at 3%, and that's
Low
what we're filming
battery.
on. Yeah, Chasta Lynn.
God, I mean, made that easy for us.
Really easy.
Such a good personality.
Like this podcast, when we got downstairs, said goodbye to her, shut the door, we were like, holy shit.
Yeah. It was so awesome. And she's just, I mean, this is what she does for a living.
Yeah.
So, I mean, clearly she's good at it. Mm-hmm. Helped us look good. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, outside of the whole natural talent behind the mic thing, seems like such a genuine human.
Yeah.
So cool.
Incredibly nice. Really fun to hang out with just off air. Shooting the shit, hanging out with her. Insanely cool.
Insanely cool. Lots of advice, lots of future, like, she told us reach out whenever for help, advice, whatever.
Dude, dude, hanging out with Adam Sandler at the 51st Dates premiere, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So cool.
Yeah. Interviewing Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking sick, dude.
Insane.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, all the people she's interviewed, been around, known, it's crazy.
Yeah.
She's a legend.
Yeah, and it was fun going back and forth with her about 107.7 The Bone because she likes any feedback. And I mean, obviously, it was all good feedback. I don't really have a bad thing to say about the show. But it was fun to just talk to her because I've listened to her on the radio for so long. And it was trippy having her sit right there talking to a microphone and sound like I'm listening to 107.7. But, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We get to pick her mind and she gets to have a beer with the boys and hang out. Yeah.
So cool.
Quick recap. But, I mean, we're kind of speechless, so it kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. Later, Between Shifts, signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, we're brought to you by Bikeworks HMB, your one-stop shop for bike service, sales, and rentals in Half Moon Bay, California. Whether you're on the mountain, road, or low on battery, Bikeworks HMB has your back. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help support this podcast, please feel free to reach out to us at betweenshiftspod@gmail.com. The link will be in the description. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. GT signing off.